Hello all. Today I will discuss schemic trigger topic using an operational amplifier. In this video I will discuss the need of the schemic trigger, the various parameters of schemic trigger to define its characteristics, its types both inverting and non-inverting, and their hysteresis curve. So let's first start with the need of the schemic trigger. In my earlier video of comparators, I have discussed with you that we can compare two signals where one was our reference signal and the other was our input signal. For example, in this case, V1, let's V1 be our input signal and V2 be our reference signal. Then we can compare these two signals and we can get an output according to that. For example, in this case, our V1 signal is greater than the V2 signal. It means the V1 which is applied at the non-inverting terminal will be higher than the input at the inverting terminal. It means for an open loop our output will be plus V saturation. So similarly for this we got an output equal to plus V saturation. But this is the case when there is no noise in the system or the input signal we have applied is without noise. Now let us assume that this input signal V1 is superimposed with some noise. For example, this signal. This is V1 plus the noise. So now you can see that there are variations in the signal with reference to the V1 level, and due to these variations you can observe here that at these 2 points, at this point and at this point, the signal is going below the reference signal or the V2 signal, due to which our output is moving from plus V saturation to minus V saturation, or simply we can say that we are getting an incorrect output at these 2 points. Similarly, one more case where if we use this comparator as a zero crossing detector, then for a signal like this we will get the zero crossings at this point, at this point, and at this point. It means 3 zero crossings are there. I have told you earlier in my video of comparators that zero crossing is nothing but the reference signal is set there at 0 volts. But if the same signal is superimposed with some noise, as in this case, the noise is superimposed on this signal, now you can see at this zero crossing that at this point the signal is crossing this reference or the 0 volt level at 1, 2, 3 times. Similarly, at this point also it is crossing more than one time, and at this point also. It means it is again giving us incorrect output or giving us multiple zero crossings at these 3 points. So to overcome these disadvantages of the comparator or to provide the noise immunity to the system, we make use of the schemic trigger. Now, what is a schemic trigger? Schemic trigger is a circuit that provides us noise immunity by making use of two threshold voltages. In this diagram you can see that we are using here two thresholds. One is upper threshold and second is lower threshold, and input signal is there with noise. Now you can see that our input signal is increasing from 0 volt and it is crossing the lower threshold at this point. Initially our output voltage is at 0 volt, but even after crossing this lower threshold voltage by our input signal, the output is not changing. The output is making the transition only when the upper threshold value is less than our input signal, or exactly at this point. It means while moving or while giving us a transition from low to high in the output, the threshold that will be applicable is the upper threshold voltage or VUT. And after crossing this upper threshold voltage, even our input signal is going down below this upper threshold, but the output is not making the transition. Our output is making transition only at the point where our input signal has gone below the lower threshold voltage. It means for our output voltage to make the transition from high to low, the threshold voltage level which is applicable is the lower threshold voltage level, and so on. It means this type of circuit is providing us immunity in this range. Or if the noise that is being added on this input signal, the peak to peak amplitude of the noise is between this limit, then it will provide us immunity to that noise. Now, depending upon the various parameters, we can get different characteristics of the schemic trigger. The parameters are, one is the upper threshold, second is the lower threshold, third is the higher output level, and fourth is the lower output level. We will discuss them in detail at the time of hysteresis curve. Now first discuss the different types of the schemic trigger depending upon the input applied. If the input is applied at the inverting terminal, then that kind of schemic trigger is the inverting schemic trigger, and if the input is applied at the non-inverting terminal, that is non-inverting schemic trigger. So let's first discuss the inverting schemic trigger. This is the circuit diagram of the inverting schemic trigger. We can see here the input is applied at the inverting terminal of this operational amplifier, and a resistor ROM is connected to minimize the offset problems. We have discussed already at the time of the operational amplifier the need of this ROM or to reduce the offset values. Now a positive feedback is also applied over here. You can see the output value is fed back into the non-inverting terminal. So this positive feedback is providing us fast transitions, or we can say that it is giving us more ideal curves. As the gain of the op-amp increases with the positive feedback, it means the output voltage will increase more rapidly with the change in the input voltage. So let's first find out the value of V1 over here. By applying the KCL, we can say, if we assume all the currents are going outward, then we will say that this current, let this current be I1 plus I2 plus I3, as I3 is almost equal to 0 because it is going inside the operational amplifier. So the current I1 plus I2 must be equal to 0, where I1 is nothing but V1 minus 0 by R1, and I2 is V1 minus V out by R2 equal to 0. So from here we can get the value of V1 equal to R1 upon R1 plus R2 of V out. It means whenever the value of V1 is greater than the input voltage, then our output will be plus V saturation. And if the value of the V1 is less than the value of V in, then the output will be minus V saturation. Now look here, the value of V1 is depending upon the value of V out, and V out can have two values, because initially we don't know that it is at plus V sat or at the minus V sat. So let us assume both the cases. In the first case we are assuming that V out is at plus V sat. It means now my V1 will be equal to R1 upon R1 plus R2 into V sat. Whereas in the second case, when our V out is equal to minus V sat, then by substituting the value of V out at minus V sat, we get our V1, I have termed here as V1 negative, it is R1 upon R1 plus R2 into minus V sat. So you can see here these two voltages are nothing but the same, but due to the different output voltages, or due to plus V sat and minus V sat, I am getting different voltages at this point. These two voltages are nothing but the two thresholds that I have discussed over here. So the higher voltage is termed here as upper threshold, and the lower voltage is termed as the lower threshold. Now this input signal is compared with these two thresholds. So let's discuss this with this diagram. I have assumed here a sinusoidal signal, and the two threshold signals are there. Now when I am moving from zero signal or the zero amplitude to a higher value, it means my sinusoidal signal that is applied over here is increasing from this 0 volt. Then at exactly 0 volt, my V1, if I assume my V out to be at plus V saturation, initial case at plus V saturation, then my V1 will definitely have this voltage, that is the upper threshold. Means my voltage at the non-inverting terminal is at this level. It means if the input signal is below this level, that is at duration from this to this, the output will be definitely plus V saturation, because the input signal applied at the inverting terminal is lesser than the input at the non-inverting terminal. And as it has increased from this level, or the input signal has gone beyond the upper threshold level, then my output must be shifted to minus V saturation, and you can see here the output has shifted to minus V saturation. Exactly at that point where my output has shifted to minus V saturation, the value of this V1 must also change. And now V1 is having a different voltage defined by the second case, where V1 negative is equal to R1 by R1 plus R2 into minus V saturation, called as the lower threshold. It means now my input signal will be compared with reference to this voltage level. It means even after increasing from a particular point, it is decreasing below the upper threshold voltage, my output signal is not changing because the input at the non-inverting terminal is now lower threshold, not the upper threshold. Means it will go beyond the value of upper threshold and it reaches to the value level of lower threshold, and exactly below the lower threshold there will be a transition in my output, because at this point my again value or the voltage at the non-inverting terminal has increased in comparison to the inverting terminal, and my output voltage will change to plus V saturation. Exactly at plus V saturation, the V1 must also change. It means now the V1 will be defined by V1 positive equal to R1 upon R1 plus R2 of plus V saturation, that is nothing but upper threshold. It means when my input signal will again start to increase, and although it has increased above the lower threshold, there will be no transition in the output. It will only make transition now when it will be greater than this voltage, and at this point it is nothing but equal to V threshold. So when it goes beyond the V threshold upper threshold value, then only there will be a transition in my output, and then again my inverting terminal input will be greater than the non-inverting terminal, and my output will be moved to minus V saturation, and this process continues. It means this type of system is providing us immunity in the range of this, or if peak to peak amplitude of the noise is lesser than this, then this system will be immune to all those noises. Also, second is the hysteresis curve. As this comparator is having a positive feedback, so it gives us or provides us the hysteresis curve, also called as the dent bend condition. So let's see what is that. Let us assume that our initial output voltage is at plus V saturation. Hysteresis curve is providing us a curve between the output and the input. Means we will see that what will be my output with the increase or decrease in the input voltage. So I will start exactly at V in equal to 0, and I have already told you that initial voltage is plus V saturation. It means at V in equal to 0 my V out is V in equal to 0, my V out is at plus V saturation, or at this point. As I am increasing the value of the input voltage or the amplitude of the input voltage, I am saying that my output voltage is remaining constant at plus V saturation up to a limit, and then it is switching to the minus V saturation. And this limit is nothing but a level equal to upper threshold, or we can say at this point our input is now equal to upper threshold. It means exactly at this point my output will be shifted to minus V saturation. It means as I am increasing my signal from 0 value to the higher value, and exactly at a point, that is at this point where my input signal has become equal to upper threshold, at this point my output will be shifted from plus V saturation to minus V saturation. Means as I am going in this direction, now at this point my direction will be this, and I will reach to the value of minus V saturation. Now by further increasing the voltage, or if my voltage increasing in this direction or to a higher value greater than the upper threshold, there will be no change in the threshold there will be no change in the output voltage, and it will remain at minus V saturation, because at this point inverting terminal voltage is already greater than the non-inverting terminal voltage. Now let's try to decrease this voltage in the negative side. If I decrease my input voltage to the negative side, it will decrease, and now it is moving in this direction to the left hand side, and up to the value of V in equal to upper threshold, that is this level, it will not change its position. As I have seen here, that when I am decreasing my input voltage and when it is reached to the upper threshold voltage, it has not changed its position. Even after going below it, it has not changed the position. I have told you earlier, because the value over here has now changed to the V negative or the lower threshold. So now it will be, input voltage will be compared with this value. So even after decreasing the voltage below the upper threshold, my output voltage will not shift from minus V saturation to V saturation. It means for changing the state from minus V saturation to plus V saturation, I have to decrease my input voltage below this lower threshold value, and lower threshold value is at exactly negative value of my upper threshold. So while going down or decreasing V in on the left hand side, I will continue in this direction until I reaches to the value of lower threshold at this value. Exactly at this value, that is at this point, if I go further beyond this point, my value of output will change from minus V saturation to plus V saturation. It means I will see a transition in my output voltage from minus V saturation to plus V saturation. I will reach at this point. And further decreasing it will not change it because I have already crossed this cutoff value. Now I will go on the value of plus V saturation and my output will remain same. Now let's try to increase the value of input voltage from this point. When I am going to increase this value, as in this case, when I am going to increase this value, my value will, a point will come when will it come back to the value of lower threshold. But at this point my output will not change. Why? Because the value of output over here, or previous value of output over here, is plus V saturation, due to which the value of V1 has come out to be upper threshold. Now my input signal will be compared with upper threshold, not with the lower threshold. It means it has to increase from that value till the value of upper threshold, and exactly at this point where my input voltage becomes equal to the upper threshold, it will make a transition from plus V saturation to minus V saturation. Means I will get a curve like this, and this curve is nothing but the hysteresis curve. And the hysteresis voltage over here is given by the difference of the upper threshold and the lower threshold. My upper threshold voltage over here is R1 upon R1 plus R2 of V saturation, and lower threshold voltage is R1 upon R1 plus R2 of minus V saturation. So this will be my hysteresis curve for inverting Schmitt trigger. Now next is the symbol of the Schmitt trigger. Schmitt trigger symbol is nothing but an triangle with an one input V in and an output V out. You can see here we are getting here an hysteresis curve, but the direction of this hysteresis curve is exactly opposite to this. The reason is that this is the symbol of non-inverting hysteresis curve, non-inverting Schmitt trigger, and this is for inverting Schmitt trigger. So I can convert this symbol into the symbol of inverting Schmitt trigger by providing a knot on it.